All right, so we are on Act 4, Scene 2 of Othello. And in Scene 1, we remember that Othello has hit Desdemona in front of people. So it is becoming very obvious to some people that something is going on. In Scene 2, Othello finally confronts uh, Desdemona, but he starts with Emilia. So he brings Emilia to the side and he's kind of questioning her, asking, "Have you seen her with Cassio?" And of course, Emilia's like, "No, like, I mean, I've seen them together, but I've heard everything and they're not doing anything." Um, so then he brings Desdemona in and accuses her of being a strumpet, but doesn't say specifically, like, he doesn't say, "Hey, you're cheating on me with Cassio." He just says she's false and she's whatever, she's bad. Um, and of course, Desdemona denies everything. What's some important things to note here is that the way he talks about Desdemona, he kind of talks about this dichotomy between her outside and her inside. How she's so lovely and fair and smells sweet, but she's a weed. How she's this fair paper, a goodly book, but made to write whore upon. Like the inside is bad. So this kind of idea of this obsession with the inside and outside really connects with what we've talked about in the background, where like the idea of the white devil and all that kind of stuff, it really connects with that. But also maybe with Othello's own insecurities, and even the good things about Othello, right? Like, or not the good things about Othello. Well, I guess like how the Duke in the beginning said that he is your son-in-law is far more fair than black. Like, and he said, if beauty no delighted beauty lack, if virtue no delighted beauty lack, your son-in-law is far more fair than black. So like he was saying, if your inside matches your outside. And so Othello seems to also be obsessed with the idea of the inside matching the outside. After being confronted by Othello, she's kind of dazed. And so we see her talking to Emilia, and she seems very confused in this line. But she also asks Emilia to lay her wedding sheets on her bed. And we talked about this a little bit, that the whole thing about staining the wedding sheets. So the wedding sheets have not been stained, and she asks those to be laid on the bed. Um, which is interesting. Maybe this means she's going to try to prove her virginity, prove that she's not a strumpet. I don't know, but then Iago comes in and we talk to him about this, and of course Iago acts like he has no clue what's going on. But here is where Emilia gets interesting. So Emilia, when Iago is in there and Desdemona's like, I don't know how this happened. How did he come to think this of me? Emilia says, some eternal villain, some busy and insinuating rogue, some cogging, cousining slave to get some office have not devised this slander. So she's literally like, I bet that there's some jerk who wants to get a job who came up with this lie. And Iago's like, there is no such man. And Amelia, Desdemona's like, if there is, then heaven pardon him. And Amelia's like, no, hell and all his bones. She's like, no, if there's someone like this, then he should be punished, um, like to whip him through the world. Iago says, speak within door. So Amelia, you know, guesses correctly that someone to get some job has devised the slander. And so Iago's like, shush. She doesn't know it's him, but she just assumes that's what's happened and she's guessed it right. And Iago's like, oh no. um, and here's why Emilia knows this. Some such squire he was, she's talking to Iago, that turned your wit the seamy side out and made you suspect me with the more. So Emilia has been through this before. Iago, like this has happened to Iago. And to make Iago think Emilia was cheating on him. So all of these people think that Iago is so honest, but Emilia is the one who really knows what he's like. And she doesn't know that he has done this thing, but she knows that something like that could happen. She has seen something like that happen, and no one else could guess that this has happened. So, um, Desdemona, then, this is an important, I guess we would call this a monologue from Desdemona, although she kneels and it's almost like she's praying here. because of that kneeling. And so she's kind of like swearing an oath and saying that she's never in thought or deed um, delighted in any other form. She's never even looked at another man and taken pleasure in it other than Othello. And she says, even if he shake me off to beggarly divorcement, I love him dearly. So this is important because, like, remember, like, divorce at this time existed, kind of, but a Desdemona would be if she were divorced. I mean, she would be a beggar. Like her father's not going to take her back after this, and she can't marry again. Like, yeah, it would be terrible. But she says, even if that happened, I would still love Othello. And then unkindness may do much, and his unkindness may defeat my life, but never taint my love. Here, she's literally saying she could die. Like from whatever is happening, maybe she's gonna die. Um, and this is a legitimate threat. Remember our from our background information that the punishment for women cheating was death. So he thinks she's done this. She could die. And she's saying his unkindness may defeat my life, but never taint my love. So even if she dies because of Othello, she's still going to love him. I don't know. I think if someone were responsible for my death, like not like in an accident, but like legitimately caused me to be put to death, I don't think I could love them anymore. But Desdemona could because Desdemona is the perfect woman. She is perfectly loyal. And I think that almost she's becoming a parody in how loyal she is. She's loyal to a ridiculous extent. Yet even she is being accused of cheating. In this last little bit, Rodrigo has become wise and innocent and is like, Iago, nothing's happening. I'm not getting closer to Desdemona. I've given all this money to you to give to her. You know, that money is not getting to her. And so he's like, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go to Desdemona and tell her. And if she'll give me my money back, then it'll be fine. So this could be a problem for Iago. So he eventually convinces him by saying, "Oh, you suspect me of cheating you. That makes you smart and strong. And now that you are smart and strong, I know you can do this thing I need you to do, which is kill Cassio." Seems ridiculous. He's saying that you need to kill Cassio because Cassio. This first part is true. Cassio is going to be in charge in Cyprus. They're asking Othello to come home. All of that is true. So then Rodrigo's like, "Well, I'll just go back to Venice," and he's like, "No, they're not going back to Venice. They're going to Mauritania." And so if you want Othello and Desdemona to stay here, particularly Desdemona to stay here, you have to kill Cassio so Othello can't go home. This leaves, I think it's kind of funny the way this scene leaves off with Rodrigo saying, I will hear further reason for this. Like, he's not quite convinced, but you're going to have to tell me more about why I need to do this. And Iago says, and you shall be satisfied. I will tell you. So we don't see that conversation, but we assume that eventually Iago somehow convinces Rodrigo that he has to do this.